to the United stand. I hope you're doing very, very well. Thanks for waiting a hot minute there. I know we're a little bit late, but you're very welcome to the Manchester United news and transfer news latest this Saturday morning. 1 day to go. 1 day to go. I'm not going to make... I could have done a song there, couldn't I? I'm not going to do a song. I don't feel like doing a song. I had too many to drink last night. I've got a bit of a hangover. And I don't want to be jumping around. And I think we've just got to wait around and see what's going to happen tomorrow. The fans can only hope. The fans can only believe. It's the players who've got to deliver. But lots to talk about. Jadon Sancho alternatives, left-backs. Big offers, lots and lots to talk about. But I'm going to start off very, very quickly. I want to talk about this 70 million transfer decider because that is an interesting story. But I do just want to say there's a little bit more to the Kingsley Coman deal last night that was apparently going to happen. The journalist who said that it was true he actually tweeted. Andy Mitten actually tweeted and replied to people saying, "I stand by what I said. There's more than one source." And then Christian Falk, who obviously is a very good source around Bayern Munich, who said it's not true, is saying that, look, Man City were interested in Coman as part of the Leroy Sané deal. Bayern Munich won't do the deal. They don't want to get rid of him. So there you go. I think the truth, as I said last night on this, is somewhat muddied, I suppose. But I feel that the truth is that United will have scouted Kingsley Coman, and I'm sure we have scouted him at some point over the last 5 years. We may even have scouted him this season. We may have an interest in him, but I'm sure we've got interest in players that we've got no chance of getting. And to me, this is just a story that's, I believe, out there. I certainly think it's out there from the club. You can't be 100%, but I think it is. And I think it's a bit of PR to try and make Dortmund worry, which I don't think it'll work. Joshua Sudes, welcome, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. But let's talk about tomorrow's game because I think there's a lot of, There's a lot of hype around the game. Quite rightly so. It's our biggest game in a long, long time. I'm trying to, I just want it to happen now. The nerves are there. But also, there are massive ramifications in relation to our transfer window. And I don't want to put more pressure onto the game. But as fans, I think you do need to sort of understand that Paul Pogba to score a 91st minute winner with a sure assist, says Zach Maloney. Well, we are going to talk about a left-back that we've been linked at. And a lot of people saying that Brandon Williams should be loaned. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But let's talk about this game. The difference between Europa League and Champions League is about £50 million. So that's £50 million that's on tomorrow's game straight away. There is also a feeling that the Adidas deal especially has a clause in it that will drop by about £20 million for the year. Therefore, 20 plus 50 is 70. Tomorrow's game is a £70 million game. Now, of course, people will say, well, it's not actually technically a £70 million game because if we win the Europa League, we get that 70 million. But you're going to give up well over a month of your transfer window, well over 35% of this transfer window. Because it's only 3 months that it's open, waiting to see if you're going to get that money, which is a huge thing. So anybody who says, well, we can get that money if we win the Europa League, that's not going to happen for another month. On Sunday night, Manchester United can know that they've got £70 million in their transfer budget that they don't know that they've got for another month. And that's if they win the Europa League. So it is a £70 million game. And that's £70 million for a club that's net spend is normally about £70 million. Is rather significant and has a massive impact on what Manchester United are going to do. Could we still sign Sancho without it? Maybe, but then again, would you be confident? I think that 70 million is a huge amount of money, and it's a huge impactor on what Manchester United are going to do over the next coming days and weeks and months. So there is that to it. And, when you look at the game, what's more important to us as fans, I think we just want to see progress. We want to see Manchester United playing in the Champions League. We want to see progression. We want to see that the team can get over the line. I think we've seen a couple of times over the last couple of years under Ollie, and I think we've seen it under previous managers, that we can get back into a race that we were never in. But then when we catch up, we run out of energy, which is, actually, it's understandable. I said this after... when Ollie first came in and Mourinho got sacked and we were miles off top four and everyone said it'd be a miracle if we got top four. And Ollie miraculously went on this amazing run for 3 months. He got us back into the race and then we fell off. But actually there's probably quite a good explanation for that, because you work so hard, you run so fast to catch up with everybody else, that when you catch up with them, they go, well, we're not losing to them. So they go a bit quicker. and you're so knackered from trying to catch them up that you've got nothing left. And I think that happened last season, but this season we've got to prove we've got something left. Reports Chelsea have been in talks with Dean Henderson. This can't happen. We can't lose Dean. Do you think this can happen? Is the reports true? Says Forever PVM. I don't think it's true, but ultimately it would be a good wedge of money that we would get for him that you could maybe use elsewhere if you wanted to stick with De Gea. Did you hear about the racism being fired at Jude Bellingham by United fans for not coming to United? It's disgusting that this is our fan base, says Jack Birtles. Yes, I did. And as I've said before, you know, I never agree with people who start trying to say, oh, your club's racist, your club's racist. Racism resides everywhere. In the United fan base, Chelsea fan base, Arsenal, everywhere. You know, it does. That's the whole point. You can't direct it just at one club. You know, I said this the other day. I basically called Pepe a flop, and the abuse I got. I mean, look, I'm used to it, but the abuse I got, you know, obviously not racism, but you know, if I had, you know, if I wasn't a white man and maybe, you know, maybe I would have got some racism. You know, if I wasn't a straight man, I think I would have got some homophobia as well. If I was a woman, I think I would have got some sexism aimed at me as well. It's vulgar. It's vulgar that how, especially on, seems to be on Twitter, how if you put an opinion up that people don't like, they can't just disagree with it. They have to go to these extremities of what is illegal and vulgar, like I say. So it doesn't surprise me, unfortunately. Every fan base has got knobheads in it, really. And if they are United fans, and let's just say if, because just because you've got United in your Twitter profile doesn't mean you're a United fan. You could just be a complete and utter dickhead who's out there to cause problems. But it is disgusting, but it doesn't surprise me. Nothing surprises me on social media because you know, it's you know, you put an opinion up there that people don't like, and you're going to get absolutely vile abuse. That's just what happens. Thankfully, we don't really get it in our community because we've built a really good. And and you are a very good example of an online social community. So well done to you. Let's talk about some other things then. So we've just spoken about Kingsley Coman there, and you know how that is. Another story that you may not have seen this morning is, and I'm quite enjoying the show this morning because we've got lots of different stories to talk about. Adrian Rabiot, or Rabiot, or however, I'm crap with names as we know. Tutto Juve are talking about this. Italian, obviously. Saying that Manchester United are looking to offer 30 million euros for Adrian Rabiot. I mean, look, again, I've got to say that I don't know where this is coming from. I don't know whether this is a little fire that will be put out very quickly, or whether it's a little fire that will grow into a bigger fire. But this is a player that United were definitely interested in a year ago. Obviously, he was free going from PSG to Juventus. And I don't know that Juventus are looking to sell him. I don't know whether he wants to go. But we are in a situation where we are looking at a midfielder, and you know what, Rabiot's an interesting one because I think I've said I always change my opinion on Rabiot, and I think that the fact that we didn't get Bellingham, and I really do think we need, and I was funny because on Twitter this morning I've sort of been having a bit of back and forth with Ricky about Matic, and he won't have it, and I knew he wouldn't, and he's like, I've watched the game twice. You need to watch it twice. It's unfair that he said he had loads of touches, and I don't need to watch a game twice. Sometimes I do, but I don't. You know, I don't. When I watch a game like that game against West Ham, I don't need to watch it twice. I know that Matic took too many touches. Maybe not every single time, but he definitely did. We watched the game. We all watched the game. We were all on about it. He took too many touches. But the reality is, I do like Matic, but we don't have a backup for Matic. And if Adrian Rabiot came in his mid-20s, I think he would be the perfect sort of profile. So, look, if that develops into anything for 30 million euros, I think that might not be a terrible deal for Manchester United. Do I think anything will come of it? Probably not, but I'm just throwing it out there that I think if you could get a player like that for 30 million, he can certainly play a number of positions, and United do need that sort of a player, I think, really. So that would be interesting. There's also a story coming out of Portugal, and obviously we're well versed in Portuguese outlets, you know, Record, O Jogo, and a couple of others from the Bruno days. Well, O Jogo are talking about a player called Marcus Edwards, who you might have heard of. He plays for Vitória Guimarães. He's having a very good season in relation to goals and assists. English lad, formerly of Spurs. Spurs actually have, I think, a 50% sell-on fee that they get. And Manchester United have been linked with him, predominantly playing off the right wing. Again, look, I mention it. I don't like it, but and you know, again, it seems to be we seem to be getting linked to a lot of right wingers again, and I just don't have any sort of faith in it. I don't necessarily think Manchester United are leaking to the Portuguese press that, you know, let everybody know we're interested in Marcus Edwards. I don't think that's the case. And I will talk about Alex Telles as well in a moment in Portugal. But I do think that we are going to see... I mean, look, Sport, which is a Barcelona outlet, are reporting Manchester United's interest in Ansu Fati again. The 17-year-old Barcelona sensation. Again, this is like 4 times in the last month we've been linked to Ansu Fati. And I just feel that what we're going to get with this transfer window as well, and I spoke about this last night, I want a predictable transfer window, which will still be a sensational one. If we got Grealish and Sancho, and we sell Sanchez, Lingard, Rojo, and Jones, then that, and Delo maybe, that to me is I could predict that can happen, but it would still be a very, very good one. I don't want a transfer window where every story we're getting excited, but we will have that. We don't have to get excited about it, but we will get linked. Like Chelsea are getting linked to everybody. Man United and Chelsea are going to get linked more than ever to everybody because we're one of the few clubs that's going to be active in the transfer window. But just because we're active in the transfer window doesn't mean we've got loads of money. We will be active in this transfer window, but I think we're looking at 2, maybe 3 signings. So linking us to Marcus Edwards, Kingsley Coman, and others, and Ansu Fati as well. I mean, Ansu Fati's got a 170 million release clause, and they're looking to knock that up to 400 million. We're not in for this player. I'm sure we'd like to have him at the club, but we'd like to have a lot of players. We're not in for this player, but we are going to get used and abused as ever. I imagine Ansu Fati his agent wants a better contract. We will be used. Manchester United will be used, and we will be linked to a lot of players. And I think it's just about being realistic. And obviously, I'm going to be realistic when we're getting linked to players, and I will give you my honest opinion on who I think we're in for and who we're not. I don't think we're in for Edwards in Portugal. I don't, and I definitely don't think we're in for Ansu Fati. Hi Mark, me and my dad really like the channel and it's his birthday today. Could you please wish him, Hakan, a happy birthday, says Matthias Alinius. Happy birthday to Hakan, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of people in the live comments saying it as well. And Fati is slightly better than DJ, says a Vandy Candy. Malang Sarr, fullback, centre-back, 16 to 18 million. Calvin Verdonk, left-back, 2 million. Oh, here we go, we've got a scout report. Lert Pacadarda, left back, 1 million, 21 years old, all without clubs. Thoughts as Forever PVM. I think you're a better scout than me. That's what I think. But just talking about the left back situation, there has been a story over sort of like the last 24 hours that I've been monitoring in relation to Alex Telles. And just on that, I saw ESPN this morning reporting that Barcelona again are interested in Diogo Dalot. Now, let me just talk about Dalot first. Could McTominay be the solution for our centre-back needs, says Mr. Beast? Well, he's not. I don't think he's the solution for our centre midfield needs. So how are we going to turn him into a centre-back? I remember McTominay playing as a centre-back against West Ham, and it was a bloody nightmare. I don't think McTominay's a centre-back. I really don't. But Dalot interest from PSG we've also had as well, and Barcelona. I mentioned about Dortmund. Don't underestimate Dalot's standing in European football. When we bought him, a lot of clubs wanted him. 3 or 4 clubs wanted him. I think Bayern Munich did, Real Madrid did, and we got him. And it's not worked out, but he's still a rated player. And I still wouldn't be surprised if a PSG or a Barcelona wanted him. So he's a player that, if there is interest, we might be able to get a good fee for him. Look, whatever you think about Dalot, and I know some of you do like him, there is no doubting that he is not rated by Solskjaer in his future plans. So we should cash in and get as much money as we can, and then that can go towards rebuilding a team. Kingsley Coman to United, says Lewis Noakes. God, you are late. You are very late. You need to get up early, Lewis. We spoke about it yesterday, and we've spoken about it already today. Suffice to say, the source from The Athletic, Andy Mitten, is standing by his information that United are interested. And Christian Falk, who has obviously been on the channel and is a very good journalist in relation to Bayern Munich, is saying this is not true and Bayern Munich don't want to sell. So, reading between the lines, this is a story that United want out there, but it's not going to happen. So, I don't really get what the point of it is. But, you know, there you go. And also, to be fair to the person who initially reported it, you're not going to put it out there and say, actually, I'm talking a load of crap, are you? You're going to stand by your story. So, fair play on that. Yeah, so Alex Telles, who plays for Porto, has been linked to Manchester United and Chelsea. Get what I just said? Probably, I think he's only got a year left on his contract, so you'd be looking at probably around 20 to 30 million pounds. He's had a very, very good season at Porto, goals and assists, and there are United fans out there and Chelsea fans out there who are saying this player would be very, very good for us. 27 years of age, so it's a different sort of profile, Brazilian. I don't think that United will move for this player, and I actually don't think United should move for this player. I know a lot of people are starting to say that Brandon Williams should go on loan. I'm not necessarily opposed to that, but what I would also say is that has Brandon Williams not shown that he has the capability to push Luke Shaw at left back and certainly be a decent deputy? So why would we loan him to buy somebody that we could spend that money elsewhere? For me, the priorities are centre-back, midfield and right wing, and maybe a striker. Left-back, to me, is not a major concern when you've got Luke Shaw and Brandon Williams. Now, Telles is an interesting one because it's the age-old argument that, well, he's got a lot of goals and assists and Luke Shaw and Brandon Williams don't do that. But when you delve deeper into Telles, a lot of his goals and assists are coming from sort of set piece. They're not coming from open play. Well, Manchester United don't need goals and a fullback to get them goals and assists from set pieces. We need a fullback that's getting goals and assists from open play. And Telles actually isn't that great at doing that. I mean, arguably he is better than Luke Shaw and Brandon Williams, but I don't see that sort of a player being what Manchester United need. I could see it being a little bit like Cancelo going to Man City. They buy a very good right back who then actually doesn't really dislodge Kyle Walker and isn't better than him. And I think if we bought a 27-year-old Telles, ultimately I think Luke Shaw's doing a very good job. So I don't see how he pushes Luke Shaw out of the team. So therefore I think that what Man United need with the more experienced players is up and coming players. And is Brandon Williams not that? Or do you go and buy a younger left back? That's my opinion on it. Welcome to Anirudh Chandra, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Thanks for joining there. And do you think we should play Smalling, says XBeasto? Well, he's not. Abraham says he's factually better than Shaw. Well, I think that's factually a really poor comment because, facts is that if you drink water, it will help you survive. Facts are we're all going to die. Factually, Alex Telles is better than Luke Shaw. Well, factually, Alex Telles plays in a much inferior, in a much worse league. And I don't think he is factually better than Luke Shaw. So what you need to do is rephrase your comment to, in my opinion, Telles is better than Shaw, because it's just an opinion. He's not factually better. And also, I think there's a big danger here. I think there's a really big danger here. You see a player that's performing well for Porto in the Portuguese league and say, oh, he's going to be brilliant in the Premier League. I actually saw something yesterday about comparing Emerson, who is a left-back at Chelsea, with Telles, who's a left-back for Porto. And Emerson is on the ball more. He has more touches on the ball and actually has better, effectively, and he plays in the Premier League. So will Telles be better than Emerson in the Premier League? Well, you would expect it, but he's not played in the Premier League. And he might have more of the ball in the Premier League. And with more of the ball, will he be a worse player? So there's lots and lots of permutations. For me, he's not the right player for Manchester United, but obviously some people don't like Luke Shaw, so they will quite like that. Marcus Edwards, we've spoken about. The centre-back situation, I think, is interesting. And look, I have had a total brain blank here. Kanate, Leipzig. Is it Kanate who plays next to Upamecano? I like him. I think he's the right sort of. I'm not a big fan of Upamecano. I like Upamecano, but I prefer Kanate next to him. And that's the sort of centre-back United need to go for. Somebody who's quick, but has also got growth in them. I mean, that's why Twansebi would be very important for United. But I put a tweet out today, and I think that I'm happy to say this, and I'd love to be proved wrong. But United are never going to win a Premier League title with Lindelof and Maguire. When we play teams in the top six, we never commit properly like we might do against a Brighton or something like that, because we know that these teams in the top six have got players, even Arsenal, with people like Lacazette and Aubameyang. They've got players that on the break are going to hurt Lindelof and Maguire's lack of pace. So when we play against the top sides, we don't commit our fullbacks forward. We don't leave two at the back. We don't commit our midfielders because we're worried about what a team will do on the break to the lack of pace that Lindelof and Maguire have got. So we'll never win a title because I don't think we're equipped with those two at back to commit our fullbacks forward like we did so well after lockdown against teams that we need. You know, basically, the way we played after lockdown is the way I want to see United play every week. And Ollie explained it yesterday, you know, we knew we had to go for it, we knew we needed to score goals. So he basically camped his fullbacks on the edge of the box and we had lots of options. It left you a little bit exposed at the back, but we were playing teams that really weren't particularly quick on the break. The Sheffield Uniteds and the Brightons especially. I mean, Bournemouth were, and they caused us a few problems, but, you know, we scored more goals. Against the top sides, we don't do that because we're worried about what's going to happen on the break. And until we buy a centre-back that's, you know, not only good enough to play for Man United, but has also got a bit of pace, I don't see us being able to win a title with Lindelof and Maguire. I'd love to be wrong. I just don't see it. I don't see it at all. It's funny because Drawty messaged me on Twitter and he said, well, did people not say the same about Bruce and Pallister in '89? And look, I know Drawty's a little bit younger than me and I don't think he would be old enough to remember Pallister. Pallister wrongly used to get picked at right back for England by Graham Taylor. Like, Gary Pallister was very tall, but he was also very fast. I think people think that Pallister and Bruce were a slow combination. They weren't. Gary Pallister was actually very, very fast. It's just because he's tall, people think, well, you know, he's not. But look at Van Dijk. Van Dijk's very tall and very fast. So you do, and we do need that pace. Where we're going to find this centre-back from, I don't know. I really wish Twansebi would get fit, but you've got to have concerns about him when he's been out for a year as to whether he can be the player we need him to be. Do you believe we'll sign anyone else beyond Sancho, says CRCL20. I can't see us signing anyone else if we land Sancho, even though we desperately need players. Canate is the name, thank you. He's too injury prone though, says Freya. Most of last season injured and now he has to do a surgery, not reliable, and he's so young and already having so many injury problems. I like him but can't rely on him. And that's a very good point. Look, you know, I wouldn't know that deep to know that much about his injury record, and you know, that's a very good point. That would turn me off that sort of player straight away. But we do need a centre-back, and they've got to have some pace about them, and they've got to be reasonably priced. I mean, Saeed talks about somebody like Koulibaly, but I don't see Manchester United being able to go in for somebody like Koulibaly, especially when you go back to that previous chat about, do you think Manchester United will sign anybody beyond Sancho? Hi, Mark. Do you think Alan could be a good CDM, says Arjun? I think he definitely could, but I don't think Manchester United are in for him. Will we sign anybody other than Jadon Sancho? Well, it goes back to tomorrow's game again, doesn't it? As I said at the start of the show, it's a £70 million game. Manchester United will make £70 million tomorrow. If they win at full time, 70 million drops into Manchester United's bank account. Not instantly, but effectively it does. We don't lose the 20 odd million from Adidas for being in the Europa League 2 years in a row. And we gain 50 million on what we would have done from the Europa League. So it's 70 million quid straight away tomorrow night. The transfer window opens next week. You've got 70 million more than you thought. So I think if we do get Champions League football tomorrow, we will sign more than Jadon Sancho, because I'm expecting United to make about 50 to 60 million in transfer fees as well. Plus 70, plus whatever was in the budget anyway. I think United's budget is probably 50. I think they'll get 70 tomorrow, so maybe another 50 from that will go in. And then whatever you sell. So I think United's transfer budget is going to be net around 100 to 150 million. So I would imagine we'll get Sancho and one or two others. That's what I'm expecting. And the fact that Simon Stone said that this week, I think that United are looking to bring in 2 or 3 players. Like Gerrard and Lampard, Lindelof and Maguire are individually good defenders, but not together, says Dane Grayson. That's a very good comparison. You know, you can have 2 good players, but they don't necessarily complement each other. And Gerrard and Lampard used to play for England in midfield. And that's why England failed. Ericsson was a coward. He wouldn't pick a team, he picked individuals. And he didn't want to drop Lampard or Gerrard, but what he should have done is played Lampard or Gerrard with Carrick or Butt, and had somebody who can hold the midfield and given them the licence to go forward. But no, he wouldn't. He played those 2 together, and neither of them were good enough to do the holding role, because that's not what they were good at. It's like being a national team and having 4 or 5 brilliant strikers. We don't play them all. You play one, and it's unfortunate because you might have a load of crap defenders, but you might have 4 or 5 brilliant strikers, but you can't play them all. Will players be European Cup tied if we sign them post the start of the season, given the transfer window goes until October? Says David B. Good question, don't know. And Forever PVM, Malang Sarr and Calvin Verdonk, they are freaking huge and faster than all our centre-backs. Please check them out. Big love, Mark, says Forever PVM. Bit of scouting work going on there. Lindelof is a legend, says Anish. Look, I do like Lindelof. It's nothing personal, but you've got to be ruthless if you want to win titles. And I think that United, that centre-back pairing just doesn't work for me. They don't complement each other. Do you ever feel confident in that centre-back pairing? I just don't think they complement each other as a pair. I think they play well sometimes, but as a pairing, it just doesn't seem to work for me. And they definitely are never going to have the pace. I disagree, Mark. Laporte and company played as a partnership, both not particularly quick. Yeah, but Zed Jamie, you are comparing company and Laporte with Maguire and Lindelof. All right, you know, I would disagree. I think they're quicker than Lindelof and Maguire, but even if we say they're not as quick as Lindelof and Maguire, you're comparing, you know, you're now talking ability. You're now saying, well, you know, Lindelof and Maguire can be Laporte and company. Well, they can't. They're not that. That's like comparing Mark Noble and Declan Rice with Fabinho and De Bruyne, isn't it? You know, they're two. You're not talking about pace there. You're talking ability now. Why don't we do more loan deals? Also, what's your view on Perisic Sanchez swap? Says Redimi. Well, I would do the swap. It won't happen, but I would do the swap. And I suppose that feeds into why Kingsley Coman will not leave Bayern Munich as well. Because although they've bought Sane, they're going to send Perisic back to Inter Milan. So they're losing a striker. They're losing a wide player, but they're bringing Sane in. I don't think they want to lose Kingsley Coman or Serge Gnabry. So Bayern Munich are not looking to lose those players. Do you think the reason we have so long injuries is to do the new physio that was hired to fix the wrong body behaviour, tried to stop the injury spikes, says Haralda? Well, yeah, there needs to be an improvement within Manchester United's fitness department, and hopefully we are starting to see that. Harry Boy says that Lindelof is quicker than Laporte and company. I doubt it. I very much doubt it. Maguire and Lindelof have done a pretty decent job despite De Gea not being on top form. We have conceded very few. Our goal difference is down to defence. Second highest number of clean sheets in Europe, says Snell. Yeah, but I think what you're doing there is you're not understanding football, are you? We don't concede many goals because we play very defensive. So if you go back to Van Gaal, Smalling and Blind didn't concede many goals, but they had 2 centre defensive midfielders playing in front of them. You won't concede many goals if you set up defensively. So, you know, it's all relative, isn't it? If Manchester United had their second lowest clean sheets, but our fullbacks spent every game camped up on the edge of the box and we left 2 at the back, I would be impressed. But I'm not impressed by how many clean sheets well, I am, but I'm not. There's a reason for it. It's the way we play football. Most of this season, we have played quite deep and defensively, and certainly against the top clubs, that's what we do. But we've actually conceded quite a few goals this season, haven't we? Since lockdown. Sancho and a solid fast centre back should be the priority, says Adam Creighton. And Mark, don't you think we should go for free agents, says Jesse Lingard? I don't think we should go for free agents. I don't think we should go for loans, just to answer the loan question as well. We're Manchester United. Who are Manchester United going to loan in? Like, it's very hard to get a loan player when you're Manchester United because you're already considered to be one of the biggest clubs in the world. So who are you going to loan in? A club like Bournemouth or whatever aren't going to loan you their best player, are they? They'd never do that. And why would Real Madrid or Barcelona or Man City or Liverpool loan Manchester United a player? So loan deals don't tend to work if you're a big club. Free agents as well. Why are we looking at free agents? Like, we're bigger than that. Let the mid-table clubs deal with that. Mark, if we bottle it like last season, I'm done with this group of players. The mentality in this club must change. I really hope we win on Sunday. So it says I see dead bodies. Yeah, look, as I said, all we can do is hope that we're going to do the business tomorrow. I've gone with a 3-1 win. There's a lot riding on this game. I'm not one of those people who goes, well, if it doesn't happen, we've got the Europa League. I think that's ridiculous, because we're just going to go, it's okay to blow it then because we've got another chance. I mean, there's massive issues if this team blows this opportunity. We shouldn't be blowing it, but I think we all know that anything's possible in football. So you've got to have that seed planted in your head that allows you to be nervous, of course. But I feel that we will do it tomorrow because I think we have to do it. And I can't see why we can't do it. I know we can't do it because I've seen the team, mess things up before. But this time, I'm like, we can't. There's too much individual talent. They've just got to believe in themselves and go out and play the way that we can play. And I think they will be okay. So, look, it's going to be a nervy day, isn't it? That watch-along tomorrow... it's going to be nervy. Unless we go and blast them and we're 4-0 up at half-time in the second half, we've got pipe and slippers on. Great, but I don't think it's going to go like that. I think Sancho, Grealish and a centre-back should be enough, as I believe Scott to be the successor of Matic, says Ashish, brave. And Stian says, I think we need Sancho, Van der Beek and a centre-back. Do you think Van der Beek is better than Matic if we use him in that role, Mark? Van der Beek's more of a box-to-box player, but I think he could play the holding midfield role. Grealish is never going to be able to play that. He's not a holding midfielder. I'm not convinced by McTominay and Fred. I did mean to talk about them last night, so I might talk about them tonight a little bit, but I don't, I understood why they didn't get picked when Pogba came back and Matic was playing well. But what I don't understand with McTominay and Fred is when they've been given the opportunity, they've been really poor. So I don't know what's going on with them. Mark, is Ollie's position under threat if we lose tomorrow, says Carl Fleming. Not at all. Not at all. Never in a million years. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be manager of Manchester United next season, regardless of what happens in the Europa League. If we don't win the Europa League and we don't get in the Champions League tomorrow, Ole will still be manager next year. There is no plan at Manchester United to change Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And remember, it's a very, very short turnaround. So we are basically end of July, Europa League in August, and the Premier League starts again at the start of September. So there is no plan for Manchester United to sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So if there are any Ole outers still out there, thinking if he gets sacked tomorrow, we'll get Pochettino, God, put all your prayers on a Man United win, because we'll still have Ole next season regardless of that. And obviously, I want Ole to be here next year and I want us to have top four. So there we go. The chart show is not over. Thank you very much, Sufyan. The chart show is not over. I had forgotten about it. I must put my hands up. But actually, it will work better tomorrow morning anyway. So it's out tomorrow morning, the chart show. I don't really want to be tomorrow morning sat doing a live transfer show. I think tomorrow is all about the game. And I think a chart show will work well tomorrow, because I'm going to be pretty nervous about that. So, yeah. Back again at 8 o'clock tonight, by the way. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new. And if you want to get United Stand t-shirts, you can check out the range below on YouTube. They do ship worldwide. You don't have to go to an external website now. You can just do it through YouTube. Have a great day. Tomorrow will come soon enough. And what a day it's going to be. Speak to you soon.